Well, it's Movember, so you could just start a
Yeah,
mo.
that was a no-go. I would be sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah, I came across some Movember pictures. It's
It's
disgusting.
horrible.
It's so
Yeah.
gross. It is a
like it's a
gross
great
mustache.
cause, and I support my friends who are brave enough to do it. But unfortunately, I just can't take up that mantle um, because it's too much jeopardy to the relationship. So
I remember being in a Toys R Us with my newborn at that time with the mustache, and I just felt like I shouldn't be there.
With
Where
the toddler.
cameras are panning to me. It's like, really, I have a kid. I'm okay.
you had that not allowed within 400 meters of the school look.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine doesn't come in full either, so it's like that weird, dirty kind of scraggly.
Yeah.
Oh. And on that note,
Yeah. Start the show.
the, the adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their game lives. And mustache. Terrible, terrible new dad mustaches. My name is Trevor. I have no mustache, and I have a 1-year-old.
My name is Gavin. I'm clean shaven with a 1-year-old.
I'm Jeff. I got semi-facial hair right now. I got a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old.
It just felt like it kind of felt like such a dad thing to be able to have a mustache and beard. Apparently my dad had struggled growing one, but I recall there's some good times he had a pretty decent beard, and my prospects are none. Like it doesn't happen. This is as dirty as I risk it going before goes off the rails very quickly. But yeah, so then I see people like Gavin, like your beard was impressive last week.
Thank you. I was actually very pleased with how it came out. I was like, yeah, it's a beard now.
So you have that superpower
Apparently,
of,
yeah.
of
And
beards.
that was only a month of growth.
That's good.
Um, and that was with like I was trimming it back too. Like I picked up just like a cheapy little trimmer with the guide with little guards on it, so you can just keep it at a certain length. So like that was me kicking it back every so often too, so I didn't look too much like I've been lost in the desert. But yeah, I was wondering. I didn't know whether I could grow like one that would cover all the terrain. Like I wasn't sure if I'd have like areas that just were just you know not proper farmland.
just just want you to keep talking about it because I want to see how many more analogies for beard you can come
Yeah.
up with.
Keep it going.
Just keep just
You know,
churning them out. Yeah,
how rough will the seas become?
yeah,
How
yeah.
cloudy will the sky form?
The herd was thick.
Yeah. Would it be a peach or a pineapple? Like what fruit shall my face be? 1,000 others. But the reason for the glorious beard was for Halloween, which is coming past. I think it'll be great. I'm really curious with Jeff. I mean, you went out with your kids, and I guess like that's the ultimate next steps for it is the going out and trick or treating, like with the actual kids. At this point, Gavin, I don't know if you had dressed up your kid at all, because we're pretty much at the dress them up against their will, make them look cute phase still.
Oh yeah, we totally took advantage of the fact that she had no say in the matter. So we did
Very weak arm strength, you see.
yeah, yeah, just oblivious. And it's like, here's a prop toy, have fun. So yeah, we did like a full family Stranger Things outfit. So we dressed her up as 11 because she doesn't have any hair. And we did a Demogorgon dog. Uh,
Nice.
and then yeah, my wife was all decked out with Christmas lights and nice little green shirt and stripes and stuff. And, I sported the beard and sheriff's hat, and I went kind of half sheriff, half civvies with his outfit. I didn't go full blown khaki outfit because I just didn't have it, and I didn't have time to find it. So, and I liked his more, I'm gonna go to a bar and sweet talk somebody, and when that doesn't work, I'm gonna punch him kind of look. So, so yeah, we did that, and that was a lot of fun. We actually got everything at like one of those for our non-Canadian listeners, Value Village is like a thrift store, and we went there. I mentioned the Demogorgon dog? My wife's very particular that I mentioned that we made a Demogorgon dog. We did like the petals around his collar. So yeah, that was fun.
Nice.
The
But
dog
yeah,
looked great.
totally like she didn't have a say in the matter. So here's this. It's cute. It's pretty fun. All right, cool. We're doing the costume that like a lot of people are doing because it's an awesome show and everybody was excited to take part in it and do. It's basically Halloween is just like cosplay holiday. That's really what it turns into. But I'm excited for next year to find out like when she can start to actually verbalize her interests and be like, well, "What do you want to be?" Like doggy. Okay, I'll be a doggy.
Hulk
Great.
princess.
Okay.
Okay.
Hulk princess doggy. Oh, fine. Why not?
What is this, a
Waffle.
Doritos commercial now? Like,
Yeah. Just all of it. You're everything. Let's do this, sweetie. So, but yeah. What about you? Do you dress your little one up against its will?
oh, very much against his will too, because he just the key part is the giraffe costume, and like a key part of it is like obviously the head that goes on top, and he hates hats, just loathes
Yeah,
them.
my daughter hates hats too, and like hoods. Like you
Yeah.
the only way to keep the hood up is you got to put the mitts on her first, so she loses the dexterity to pull it off her
You
head.
pat it.
It's like,
So you're trapping them.
yeah, but she likes the mittens, which is funny. So it's like you go to put the mittens on, she holds her little hand out, like, "Oh, this is fun. Put the mittens on me," and then you're like, "You're just falling into this trap, sweetie." And then you put the mittens on her, and then you put the hat on and put the hood over the hat, and then she's just like, they're just in her little stroller, just like, pawing at her head, just trying to get it off, and it's just not working. And then she gives up, and then you're fine. It's all good. But
Nice.
I couldn't imagine with your little one with the giraffe hood.
Oh, it was just clawing at it. He would forget it sometimes, but for the most part, it was off and creepy. It was creepy at one point. We're just going along in the stroller, and he had taken it off, except it sat so perfectly on his shoulder, so as to look like he had two heads. We're just strolling along with this abomination of a baby at a giraffe head. But no, it was great too because that costume just showed up. Neither my wife or I remember buying that thing. We don't
Weird.
remember getting it as a gift, but
Yeah.
we're going through the closet and it's there. We're like, giraffe?
It's a
Okay.
sign.
You're a
Yeah.
giraffe this year. Neat. And it fits. We're done. We did it. Yeah. we were out. We didn't dress up this year ourselves, so a little bit more low key. But
Ew.
yeah, I know.
Come on.
Wait, I
So we
seem to recall you not dressing up last year either.
Oh, 2 years in a row.
ooh, I'm trying to think. We had you, man. Did we not do something? Not even something
so.
lame. Ooh, 0 for 2. I'm going as comfortably as I can. That's the. Geez, quick sidebar. My favorite costume I ever pulled off. I wonder if this was with you, Gavin, actually. But favorite one I ever pulled off was late. So my wife and I just went as late, which involved us wearing a shower cap, having like some shampoo and a house coat, and just trying to look as like frazzled as possible. So they come up. It's like, what are you supposed to be, late? And they laughed and we laughed, and secretly we're just wearing house coats in public. It was amazing, so comfortable.
That's
and
a
so
low
many
cost entry.
Yeah. So that's like a BuzzFeed top 10, like how to spend no money on Halloween.
Late.
How to fashion a Halloween costume and the stuff you find at a hotel.
Oh, yeah, that's us. But yeah, I mean, I got a whole thing with candy, and I'm curious, like for both of you as well. But Jeff, if you want to, dying to hear your Halloween experience with the two little ones, especially since they're of candy getting age.
Yeah, very different than when they're in a stroller and can't move. So, I, much to Gavin's family, I dressed up as 11 and went out with my kids and to work, but also went out
You
with my
were
kids.
adorable, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
That was a great costume.
My 3-year-old hated it. He didn't like the hair for whatever reason. He just did not would cry for me to have it on. But we got over that. Anyway, yes. to go trick-or-treating with stationary baby objects and carrying them from house to house and kind of setting them down and saying trick or treat. Very different than my experience last night, where I'm trying to contain my 6-year-old, and my 3-year-old's a little bit, slower, obviously. So my 6-year-old's noticed some friends. He's running up ahead. My 3-year-old's tripping on his pirate costume. So I'm kind of stretched in between both kids, and my wife's at home giving out candy. So a little bit different than, just kind of a la-di-da, go around the block and enjoy the night. It's kind of like, okay, where did he go? And okay, he's dressed as a Pokemon trainer, and there's a lot of Pokemon out here. So I'm trying to weave in and out and get my 3-year-old to kind of skip houses to catch up. But it did work out in the end. If you make friends with the neighborhood dads and stuff, one of the dads of his friends was nice enough to take my 6-year-old ahead and then kind of wait at the corner at the end of the street or whatever until we caught up. So it worked out, but man, it is like running house to house. He didn't quit. My 3-year-old kept up with him. So we were out there for a good hour and a half, just hitting houses, and dumping the bags of candy into like an external like sack that I had. Eventually we got it all home, but it was high energy compared to the year before, where my 5-year-old was kind of chill and I had a 2-year-old that was, he was walking, but a couple houses would be good for him. But yeah,
so now it's getting
different.
like this is the new norm for the next few years, because
Yeah,
until this 6-year-old gets old enough, he's like, I don't want to trick or treat, I want to go throw eggs. Like,
You're like, yes, finally.
Yeah.
I don't have to go.
Or even old enough to go with his friends, right? Like just to go around and then just be back at a time that's going to be a little ways off. So yeah, this will be the norm for a while. And I don't know, everyone had a blast at the end, but I was tired. It was a long night.
Okay. Now real talk. I mean, this is just us dads here. It's just dads and some drinks. How much of your kids' candy did you eat? And have you eaten so far?
Oh, we've already sectioned that off. They're getting none of it. Like there's a tax, there's a dad tax.
Yeah.
And I take that. The candy's for the parents. Let's be honest. Now I realize what my childhood was about. Like send the kids out for candy. But no, I've eaten a lot.
So that's my thought. Like one of my thoughts was, because he looked great in his giraffe costume. Like babies are easy to look good. But if I dragged him around my neighborhood, could I just get a ton of candy for free?
Yeah.
Because he's clearly not. Maybe they'd think that he's going to eat it, like he's walking. So if I got him to like, if I kind of just like showed him in front of the door, like, hey, it's a baby.
Hey, look,
give me candy. It's a kid. I was wondering if how much I'd be able to collect, or if people would like call me on it. It's like he's too young to eat candy.
I was handing out candy to babies, like the ones that could hold their bag. Yeah, I know they're not going to eat it. It's for the parents. I totally get it. It's for the parents.
So I guess if I just stitched the bag into his hooves so that he'd kind of walk around with it by default and get myself some candy.
Just make it part of your costume, like a hunchback, and he's just on your back, and you just hold out your bag.
Nice. See? Free food for a week. We're all set.
Yeah.
Because that so you guys were out for an hour and a half?
Yeah, and that was an eternity.
Because I remember like I had 10 kids at my house, like 10, and I live in a relatively young neighborhood. Like there's definitely kids in the area. So I don't know where the heck they went. Like I don't know if there's like a sweet spot in Toronto you just go to, or if they're just not trick or treating anymore. But Gavin and I were talking. I mean, that is a bounty just left on the table. Like I used to go out for like 5 hours. Like as soon as it got close to dark, we were hitting every possible house. Like I don't know if it's just different now with trick or treaters. Like do you think you were out there for 5 hours though? Like you're probably out there for like an hour and a half. It just felt like. No, I mean like we would go until people told us we have no candy. They'd shut off the lights, or like isn't it late? And I mean, so I'm literally talking like 6 until 10.
That is late.
Like it it was all in, man. Like, there was like, and it's a small
Wow.
town, so we could almost hit every single house. But I don't know, Gavin, if you had the same type of experience with
Yeah, I'd go
maximizing.
pretty full blown. Like the town I grew up in wasn't huge; it's a mid-sized city. Um, but some years we would hit up. Like I had family in some of the surrounding rural areas, so sometimes we go to like some of the smaller little towns and villages, um, which would be fun because usually those places the number of houses you would hit are like that goes down, but those houses are like full size candy bar, can of pop. Like it sort of because it's like they know that the kid count there is relatively small because to get out there is a bit of a hassle. Um, so that's usually where you could go. It was quite bountiful. And then there was other neighborhoods where it was a little bit more suburban. So each year was sort of a little bit different. But I remember seeing like a lot of kids out in the streets and stuff, and like it being relatively busy. So, um, but just from what I've been hearing in the neighborhood, like from some of the other parents in the neighborhood, talking to them at the park the next day, and even with like our apartment building had the lobby like fully decorated, looked awesome, and they had like a big bowl full of candy and people there to hand it out. So very inviting. Like you could tell from the sidewalk that it's like this is you can fill your bag here, come on in. But I guess I was talking to the people in the lobby last night. I was taking the dog out, and they're like, yeah, no, nothing. It was
Hmm.
really, really quiet tonight. And yeah, I guess a lot of the action was like a couple streets over. So I think maybe I don't know, maybe there's like some social media dark web for trick or treaters, and like that's where they know where all the good spots are, and that it's like best kept secrets of like kids. And it's like everybody thinks they're playing Pokemon Go on like November or on like October 28th, but they're not. They're actually like in some back channel forum talking about it's like yeah this street west of
Scouting
here.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Full chocolate bar alert! Full chocolate bar alert!
yeah.
Smith
That
Street,
would
go!
that would actually be an interesting app to do. Is like a Google Maps thing. It's totally like invasion of privacy, but like you could tag houses
Yeah.
as
So,
like this is a good
Don't put
house,
that
guys.
out there, man. We're on the receiving end of that now.
yeah. Vis-a-vis never go full candy bar
Yeah.
because you gotta be smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, maybe it's just I mean, so Jeff, it sounded like you saw a decent number of kids and families out then. Like maybe it's just
Yeah.
a Toronto downtown thing.
No, I do definitely think that kids aren't out as much. Like again, I was from a smallish hometown and we would get 150 kids at least.
Yeah.
Um, right now we average probably 50, 60, which I think is low, but apparently that's pretty average. And I live in a pretty big city with lots of kids and lots of young families. So I don't know if they're just, I don't know, not hitting the same amount of houses. I don't know. But yeah, it was crowded. It's just doesn't seem like they go to a lot of houses. A lot of people driving cars too, which I hate.
Oh, no, you don't do that.
Yeah, and it wasn't
Well,
even cold out. Like, come on.
I could see it if like to bring a kid to a neighborhood if you happen to live, in a lousy neighborhood for it or a bunch of condos, maybe. But as long as you just drop them off and then like, all right, now go earn
Yeah.
it. Like,
No, they were coasting.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You use the car to get to the neighborhood that you want to hit up that year, and then like you street park the car, and then it's like okay,
Yeah.
this is it. Or even sometimes too, like when I was a kid, we would do different neighborhoods, sort of like a friend would be like, okay, let's let's do my neighborhood this year. We'll use my house as like a home base, or like a cousin or someone. There was actually a year where we did our place where it was like, okay, your friends can come over, you all meet, and uh, you have some pizza or something, you fill up on some dinner, and then you all go out, and then you all come back and sit on the living room floor and do that whole like candy barter exchange thing, and then all the kids go home. So that would switch up every year, kind of thing, is like who's hosting it, what neighborhood do we want to scope out, and then that would result in a commute, but we wouldn't use the car to get from door to door.
Yeah.
Like we would park at the host's place or relatively nearby, and then it's like, all right, go with it. You're done.
It'll be kind of interesting to watch how these. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it's just like there's that sort of sense of like you need to earn it. Just got to work. Got to work for your dinner. So
For your weeks of candy.
yeah.
I'd be curious to watch
which
as we.
is also kind of funny too, because now that I think of it, it's like, yeah, no, my parents probably ate a good chunk of that. It was like,
That's why I went so quickly all of a sudden. Yeah, all the good stuff kept dwindling.
Yeah, the full size chocolate bars. They're not gonna eat that. That's mine now. All the chips. No.
Oh, you're taking the crown jewel? That's the
Yeah, the
worst.
crown jewels. Though now my 6-year-old is getting a memory.
You've admitted it on video, by the way. Like this
Yeah,
is
I know. I'll pay for this later. But my 6-year-old can now remember in the morning what he got, like almost every piece of candy. So it's getting harder, and I don't know. I don't think I'll be able to pull.
That's Reese's Pieces number 7.
Yeah,
that came from the Smith residence.
He marks them all off. He's like, "Wait a minute."
He's got like a spreadsheet open.
Yeah.
Wait, I think that's the second part of your app, Gavin. It's just like candy tracking, what you got where.
I'll see. No.
Yeah, inventory sheets and just like up.
No, I think it's gonna be interesting to watch as we go through moments like this where we have memories of what it was like when we were kids and specific experiences. Ideally, like good ones. Like we were fortunate, it sounds like all of us, to have kind of good experiences with Halloween. You'd like to think that the kids can do it as well. It'd be kind of fun to watch. Well, fun or more interesting, really, to see as they butt up against new realities in the current world against our old experiences. Because maybe our way of trick-or-treating doesn't exist anymore. I think that's overstating it. I think it's alive and well, doing great. But you can kind of see there's now that delta between our experiences as youth and like, oh, I want my kid to have that experience, but that experience might not exist anymore. Like maybe we were 7-year-olds running around in a safe old town, but you can't really.
We all three of us we had really good experiences, but it actually sounds like our experiences were very unique from one another as well. So like, though we want to share what we got to experience with our kid, I think the bigger thing is like we just want to make sure that they get the same level of enjoyment and excitement and fun from it, and how they're able to come to that is, I think, something that they craft themselves, and that there are certain things that they might be able to take from our experiences, and like little hints that we can give them. It's like, oh look, they got a fountain in their front yard, go there. But like, I think also too is like we also have to be somewhat receptive to like how is it going to change, not as much based on the times, but just based on their experience, the types of friends that they have, the types of the types of activities that they like to do together. But yeah, I think the big thing is like we just want to make sure that Halloween still stays fun, it still is a blast to do, and that they bring a lot of candy home for us.
They pay the dad tax.
Yeah,
right.
Man, it'd be great to actually just set that as rules. Kids, welcome back. That's great. Do you have your tiding?
I'm gonna get one of those old timey like scales, and it's like just make them, and until the scale balances out, they can't come in the house.
Dad, it's cold, please. There's rules in this society, son.
And here's the thing too, is I would probably keep it going like all year round, because like like they just sort of chip through the candy. Eventually there's that like congealed pillowcase at the bottom of the closet that you just throw out because it's a bludgeoning weapon at that point. But what I would do is like, if they want to try to get out of a chore, I'll just pull the scale out again. Like, oh, so
I think you're on to something.
you don't want
It's gonna be a crooked cop. Just like, oh, I could let this chore slide if let me stop.
Pay the money.
Let's just say if you sweet talk me a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And like, oh, okay, that's gonna be you don't want to shovel the walkway? Okay, all right.
What is
It's
this?
2 Snickers.
What is this?
Coffee
Molasses
Crisp.
candy? You're grounded. What is
Yeah,
this?
yeah, yeah.
Out of
Yeah,
my
exactly.
house.
It's like, what is this, candy corn?
Yeah. Oh.
Right. Immediately, I pull up like a Google search for boarding schools.
Go to bed without dinner, son.
Yeah.
Come on, standards. So, Jess, besides the Halloween adventures, what gaming did you get up to in the week?
Me?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, really excited.
I did because I have something to share.
Okay,
Oh, I
Gavin. So,
know.
what did Gavin? How was your week in gaming? This is the,
It was good. It was normal.
no, I
Last
was
night.
teasing. I want to hear. I want to
No,
hear.
no, it's good. Go.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Let's do it. I'll save you for
I'll
last.
build the hype. Though
Yeah,
it's
this is
not
the hype
that
train.
it's too much hype now.
Nope, too late. Hype
Okay.
train's building.
Right.
This is No Man's Sky all over again.
Oh God.
Gavin, how was your week in gaming?
It was good. I played a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But last night, my wife and I played some Mortal Kombat, but we played it as like the horror characters that were available. So we had like a Jason Voorhees Leatherface battle. We did like an Alien versus Predator battle and stuff. And that was a lot of fun. Very festive Halloween-esque. I've been eyeing up Until Dawn, and that's
Yes.
right now on sale with the PlayStation's Week of the Dead Part 2 sale that's on right now. So I might pick that up because I think that could be a lot of fun. Yeah, that's about it. And then dadding is Halloween. And we did a family trip. We had friends who have twins and they turned 1. So that was a pretty big party.
Wow,
A lot of kids, and our little one was running around and having a great time. So that was a lot of fun.
Beauty. So for myself, I beat a game.
What?
Beat a game.
Whoa. Okay. No, you have the
Yeah.
news. That's big.
Yeah.
That is.
I cannot think of the last time I actually beat a game.
Can you put a trophy that appears up here and it's just like trophy? Trevor
Yeah.
completed a game. Ding.
Finally, man. I without over exaggerating, it might be 2 years since I beat a game. Like just
Oh.
because I kept jumping into all these like big experiences. Like you've heard me like I'm talking. I had Elite Dangerous, Street Fighter, No Man's Sky. Like just like there was a what was the name of Just Cause 3, which I never beat because I was done with it, and it was too big. I was just like, don't have time for you. So just it has been a long streak of never-ending games, and yeah. So this is with Gravity Rush. It ended when it needed to, which is
That's
great.
good.
Maybe a little and the best part is the entire game feels like a trailer for 2, which at the time wasn't announced. Like I think it's now coming out. Yeah, I think now like I've seen trailers for it.
Yeah.
But the way it ended, it felt like an ending where when you beat the game but you barely beat the game, and the game very condescendingly shows you an ending. It's like, oh yeah, you beat it. Great job. Good job, player. Woo.
Yeah.
Great effort. That's what the ending felt like. So I Googled it immediately, like multiple endings. Like, is this it? And it is. And it's totally just a setup for the number 2, which hadn't come now for, I don't know how old that game is. Like, I think that's 2011, 4 or 5 years. So anyway, great. Loved it. Loved that game to death. That was fantastic. Just a real gamer's game, I guess you'd call it. Just like peaks, valleys, like challenge. Great. Loved it. Like check mark, done. And actually, so now comes the, and I did a bunch of VR gaming. Still in it. This reality sucks. That reality's better. Largely playing the driving game of all of them. I find that's the one I keep going back to.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of the worst graphics, honestly. Like it's notably downgraded graphics, but just the being in the car and that challenge, like it's fantastic. I'm loving it.
They released all the tracks for it too recently, like 25 or something.
Was it? It's
Drive
a huge amount. Yeah. It's fantastic. The amount of content's phenomenal, and it's just a lot of fun. So loving it. But the bigger question, the bigger quandary to you dads is I now have to start another game. And in front of me is just a sea of choices. So here's a list of the ones that I've wanted to get to for a while. And I'd like you to argue for one of them that I should start into. So we have no particular order. geez. We have Journey. We have.
That's an easy beat. Come on, easy win. Anyway.
We didn't get through the first one. So we got Journey. We have BioShock. We have the BioShock series 1, 2, and 3. I want to get through them. There's Nathan Drake. So Nathan Drake 4 or Uncharted 4. Sorry, I guess it's called Uncharted 4. Jeez, swear there was another one. There's probably like another 2 or 3. Let's go. Oh, and then Infamous. Infamous. I have 2 Infamous games that I downloaded.
And Second Son.
Yeah, exactly. So the Infamous games: BioShock, Journey, Uncharted 4. So your arguments, dads.
I would avoid Infamous because I think some of the superpower mechanics might be too reminiscent of the game you just beat.
Excellent point.
Be in keeping with my general rule: if I beat a game, the next one I'm playing should be a little bit different, whether it's like switching from third person to first person or role-playing game to shooter. I usually try to switch it up, so I would recommend against that one.
So one last second entry. Resident Evil 4.
Have you ever played that one?
Never played that one before.
Ooh.
Sorry, last second entry. Resident Evil 4. Because I keep seeing it, and I keep seeing it heralded as such an amazing game from back in the day. I have it
at the time. I don't.
That's true.
Okay.
I would say no to BioShock just because it's a trilogy, and that's a lot of investment. Like that is probably a good 30 hours, I would say, maybe more.
That's a lot of time.
That's like 3 years of dad time. Just one BioShock a year.
That's like No Man's Sky tutorial time. Like it's a lot of time.
Yeah. I would say Uncharted 4. That's just me. It's pirates. It's kind of off Halloween. There's pirates on Halloween. It's a good pirate story. 10, 15 hours of your life.
See, that one was tempting because that, like, I would call that the apex of, well, not, yeah, the apex of PS4 gaming in many ways. Like that is one of the experiences to have with a PS4, and I haven't had it.
Yeah,
since having this console, so that did sing to me a bit as far as you've experienced the rest, now experience the best on PS4. Not to say other games aren't great, but just like that's the one. Like it, and I've never had a chance to play any of those games, so I was curious in it. But that seems to be leading. Any other arguments, though, Gavin?
No, I think that would be like that's actually probably next on my list. Because it's on my shelf, just sort of winking at me every so often, flirting.
You can see it coming out like that, out of the shelf behind you. Like, I heard my name.
Yeah. Hey, Nathan Drake.
I'm Nathan Drake. Hey guys,
want to go on a journey?
I wish Nathan Drake sounded like that. It's so bad. I want that to be
Drake. We have to go down and get the treasure. Well, I don't know about that, John.
Okay. All right. Sideline. What if we all did the same game and we did the Until Dawn discount? If we all did that, it's like $8 or something. Posing that, not to add to your game library, but
yeah, just a way to throw my question out the window.
We could see, where our stories kind of go away because I think characters die and stuff.
That sounds fascinating. I'm down for that, Gavin.
I think I could be down for
that. All right. Welcome to the New Dad Until Dawn challenge.
I just added a game to Trevor's library. That's amazing.
Hey, jerk. Hey, guys, what of this list should I pick? Oh, actually.
Here's a new one.
Actually, how about you spend money and get a new one?
Yeah.
Nathan Drake quietly, like, quiet tear rolls down Nathan Drake's face as he walks into the distance.
He just hides back in your game shelf.
All right. New Dad challenge, Until Dawn. See how our stories converge. We'll start that this week.
Yeah, we'll try.
Yeah. Week 4, Gavin has not touched it.
Yeah. I'll be part of the story.
Nice. Okay, so after that one, a good way to summarize it would be go through Journey because it's quick and it'll be a quick experience and I should experience it, or should I just jump into Nathan Drake? after Until Dawn?
Journey will take you like literally 90 minutes to do.
Okay, so I'm gonna do Journey because that looks
Yep.
gorgeous, and again
Yeah, it's
another quintessential PS4
Yep.
experience. Okay, so
Yeah.
Until Dawn, Journey, and then maybe I'll speak with Mr. Drake. We'll see. Maybe.
Good plan.
Come on, guys, I'm lonely.
Hey, Drake, what'd you say?
Coffee date or something.
All right, so now, ladies and gentlemen across Canada, we have all been waiting with bated breath for Jeff's big announcement. Take the week off school, quit your jobs, hunker down next to your earpieces.
Right.
Jeff, what do you want to tell the nation?
Okay, well, it's not that big, but I finished Witcher 3, right?
Okay, I was gonna
Finished it, and it was done.
Uh-huh.
And there's expansions for it. So one expansion runs 30 hours, which is basically a game in itself. And I stupidly went on Reddit and somebody was giving away a code and they're like, hey, do you want it? And I'm like, sure.
Don't.
I'll take
No,
it.
you didn't. You didn't do it. No.
And so he gave it to me.
No.
And there we have it.
So the game, your epic quest
Is now reopened. I complete
like-
games and then reopen them. And
It's
continue.
you arrived back at your castle with the Grail,
Yeah.
and you just allowed somebody to put it in a catapult and shoot it off into the dark woods again. It's
Pretty much
just,
it, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know,
are you
I
in?
thought I
Like,
could
did you
beat it.
play it already? Like,
I installed it. It's looking at me. I'm like, oh, I need to jump back in. Well, it's still kind of fresh, right? Like, do I wait or do I go back in and just
Actually, that's
finish her
true.
off?
I'd say just get into it now.
Right? I'm thinking.
dude,
So.
man, you found your happy place, man. Just you're a witcher. You're a witch. You're a witcher, Jeff.
The only game I'll own this generation that's taken up my time. I was looking at Skyrim, but I decided against it. I won't buy it again.
A lot of the stuff I've seen for it, and don't get me wrong, Skyrim has claimed way more hours of my free time than it should. I'm a huge fan of the game. I love it, but I've seen some of the progressions that were made in it just not quite enough to pull me back. And maybe it's because I've been more than satisfied with the way it was first done that I don't really feel like the special edition does enough for me. So yeah, it's like I would rather, if I'm gonna get back into Skyrim, I'd rather just jump back into my old game and maybe finish the thing.
Yeah, well, I was of the same mind because I'd heard that anyone who owned a version was getting, especially on PC, was getting a graphical upgrade to it. Unless I've misunderstood the selling of it. So I never beat it. So what was going to be great is like, okay, well, here's the impetus to finally beat this thing. Like, you're giving me an upgrade. Now it's going to look better. I never thought it would look particularly bad, but it's like, all right, fine. Well, now I'll beat it. Sure.
Yeah, that's the factor too. Is it's like the same gold you knew and loved now shiny. It's like, it was shiny. It's gold.
Yep. The same Witcher you knew and loved and hated. Just more of it.
Yeah,
so much more.
Well, that's the thing that held me back from it too. Is right, like I've played Witcher 3, which is just head and shoulders graphically above Skyrim. I won't comment on the gameplay because those are kind of apples to oranges, but I don't know if I can go back to a world that was so full in Witcher, and then Skyrim it's a 5-6 year old game. So, and at $60 on a PS4, no thanks. I bought it $3 on Steam. So
it's coming out like full force, like $79.
Yeah.
Like, they're not shy.
No.
It's like, man, that's great, but you didn't really fix the character models, so
no.
You good? Thanks.
Man,
that's the one thing I wish with Bethesda games like Fallout and Skyrim and stuff. It's just sometimes the character models, I find they're the part of the game that ages the quickest. Their environments and stuff, those big brushstroke moments, are still stunning. But when you get up nose to nose with the characters, that's when it really, because like even Oblivion, Like if you stand on a cliffside and overlook that environment in Oblivion, it looks still really nice and it's very immersive, and the music and everything is just fitting. But the character models are the things that you're just like, oh wow, yeah, okay, I know exactly what year you were made. Um, but the thing is like they have to contend with just the restrictions of they are making these big open worlds,
Hmm.
um, and to make it so uh, variable. So like I get it. Whereas Witcher, I think the direction that they take is a little bit more crafted because they hone in some of the variable nature of it, but in doing so, they allow themselves that opportunity to put more detail into it. Um, and just yeah, plus it's a newer game. The tech is better,
Yeah.
you know.
Can you imagine like the environmental artist, like huge brushstroke, like space looks beautiful, moon awesomeness, and then the character model guy puts his models in. You're just like, dude, what are you doing? This
What's this?
masterpiece. You just like took a
I
dump
remember when,
on it.
remember Skyrim at one point was heavily hinting that I should get a wife. I was playing through as a male character. I'm just like, that's like what, this lamppost? Like, why would I even have this thing? Like generally, like I've always found that to be dubious in games, because it's literally just a side quest that isn't very fun because it's much more like a responsibility.
Yep.
But especially with these characters, like not very well fleshed out, like their personalities and such, and then just like they just stand in the weird, just barely moving, like 2 steps above a tree, and it's just like, this will be your betrothed. I'm like, nah, man, I don't. I'm not interested in that. Like I think because what was the reason it was great in Mass Effect? I think that's probably the only time I ever got into any type of romance thing was because so much of the cutscenes were just so cinematic and the characters so incredibly flushed out that you could understand a bond between those.
Mhm.
But yeah, but especially just looking at the character models in a Skyrim game and like marry one of these people, like she's like the werewolves like move better than like the people. I don't know that I care to. No, thank you.
Well, I think that's the thing too, is that like with like Mass Effect, there was a variable nature, but the choices were somewhat limited. Um, as far as like the type of emotional response that would be triggered in the non-player characters. So the animators could actually go in and really just fine tune like a lip quiver and like a side eye scowl, things like that. So they were able to get those characters to have a better emotional relationship with the player than with Skyrim, where the responses are a little bit more, uh, like I hate to use a harsh term like this, but like a little bit more binary. Um,
Yes, my
and
lord.
it's also because like you're sitting there with like a dialogue tree and all these different options and stuff. And not only that, but the characters also have to react to actions that you've taken in the game world. So um, there's a lot of things affecting how they're going to react to you, so they can't really do a lot of those. And like, albeit they are getting better, like each iteration, like Fallout 4 is getting a little bit better. Like they're slowly starting to get the character models out of that uncanny valley. But they still got a bit of a hill to climb to get there.
Man, I think it's fun. Man, I tell you, then I really can't wait for the next Mass Effect game. When you talk about that, like you take actions, but not only taking actions, but then the reactions based on your cast. There is a weird, almost grasshopper-like, shy alien that never shows her face, can't get out of her suit. There is a crazy. There's a blue alien with like tentacles coming out of the back of her head. There is a super buff but gay marine guy. There is a guy that kind of looks like a dog, a gruff veteran. There is a, you know what I mean? Like it's just like the cast. There is a crazy experiment. Like, geez, it looks like the grown-up version of Stranger Things. The girl with all the tattoos and the shaved head.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
and each of those, and how you would do something like you punch out a guard, and the variance of how all those people would react to how you did it. Like it's funny to look back on it now, and it's just like you were so spoiled for a variety of personalities in that game. and who you wanted to companion with, either romantically or just even like as, you know, it's time to go shoot up a building. Like, which two people are you going to bring with you?
Yeah.
And like, you know, I sometimes would choose people because they'd say the funniest things. It's it's like I want to bring this. I want to bring Gareth because like his really gruff cut like humor is fantastic. Like I just want to see what he says when I punch people. Like what's oh, Mass Effect.
Gareth and Rex.
Oh yeah. So but yeah, it's Mass Effect Andromeda. Can't wait.
That's gonna be fun.
Beautiful future. All right. So Jeff, that was mind blowing. Thank you.
I hope so.
I was surprised, man. Back to Witcher. Just glutton for punishment. That's amazing.
I know.
I don't know how you'll fit in Dying Light.
Oh,
Like,
come on.
Jeff, how's your Dying Light going? Well, in The Witcher, I got this sword. But gentlemen, did you happen to have a beer pick for the week?
Yeah, I had one last night that I really enjoyed. It was called Tetra.
Tetra.
Tatra. It's a Polish beer, and yeah, it's quite nice. It's like, but it's also like a very budget beer, I guess is, you know, the type of words.
It's a polite way of putting it.
If you're in Poland and you're on your way home and you're grabbing some bread and you just want to grab a cold one as well, like that's sort of what you, I think, go for. It's like a blue kind of thing. So yeah, it was, but it was good. It was nice, clean finish, fairly decent flavor, nice and smooth. And yeah, so I basically got it, though I have to admit, because there's a man face on the can. He kind of looks like Indiana Jones, but not. Like
He's pretty
like
close.
It's clearly a ripoff of Indiana Jones. It's
It's
great.
pretty close.
It's pretty close. So it's like if you were to do like a bootleg of an Indiana Jones movie, like it would be starring this guy. So that was actually the main reason I got it, because I'm like, it's Indiana Jones. Oh wow, no, it's not. Oh wow, it's not. Got it.
Copyright.
But
Man,
as
all
far as
the-
the contents of the can, it was good. It was like pure, just good cold wet beer.
God, I can't wait until the Adventures of Kentucky Jack. This is so exciting. Oh, I want to make that thing. Jeff, yourself?
On the weekend, I had Tiger beer. So
I've had
I
that
found
one.
a photo. Tiger beer.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what you thought, but it was kind of basic. I guess there was
It was
nothing
very
really.
light.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
a watery, dull kind of.
It's very similar to like some Mexican beers I've had.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because I think too, because isn't it? It's from Vietnam.
Yes, Asia Pacific Breweries or something. So I'm not
Yeah.
sure what location.
Vietnam or Thailand, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like what I think happens is when you get into the tropics, the beers become a lot lighter because I think people are just pounding them back a lot faster.
Yeah.
So
make
I think it's
sense.
the fact that like you have these really hot tropical environments, and these types of beers are better suited. Because honestly, if I was sitting on a beach in Mexico, or like, you know, in a very humid jungle in, you know, Vietnam or Thailand, I don't think I'd reach for a Bose Lug Tread.
Yeah, no.
You know, I don't think I'd reach for like those hoppy
Waterloo Dark. Yeah.
Canadian microbrews. Yeah,
Hydrate yourself too.
yeah. It's I think it's the type of beer that's, but like, yeah, to have it in October in Canada,
No.
it's the wrong setting for it, you know.
Yep.
So, but yeah, no, I totally agree. I had the same sort of feeling when I was trying, but I had mine on a really hot summer day, and it was quite refreshing. So
Yeah. It's
yeah,
probably
it's
my
definitely an
bad.
experiment to try it again when we're like at 30 plus degrees, which should happen this week, given how kooky the weather is.
I know, right? It's crazy.
Insane.
Yes. Yeah, so for myself, I'm actually switching. I had nothing notable of beer, so I'll instead go with whiskey. And I was, yeah, it was very kind. I'd actually gotten this from, I think it was for my birthday, from a group of folks. I don't know if I'd buy it myself, but it's delicious. So it's more Crown Royal. I mean, we already went on at length for Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye. So this one's called Crown Royal Noble Collection Cornerstone Blend.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's it's a beautiful bottle. Like it's this
Wow.
but it's got this like huge like cork and cap on it.
It's quite a
But-
taste test there too.
Yeah. Certainly sampled it.
Half
No,
the bottle.
I pour, as is my tradition, I was like to pour, if I ever get some, like to pour it out to who's there. So it was shared among many, I assure you. Many nights with myself. Oh, no. Any friends, but
On this
it
week's
is a fit.
episode, Trevor admits to drinking whiskey by the pint.
Solid pint of whiskey. It's great though. I mean, I'm still not much of a whiskey person. There's certain occasions where it's just excellent, and there's even some nights where like whiskey would be good right now. And this one in particular for someone like myself who's getting into it, like it's smooth. There's good like flavor to it. So it's I think a person, and like likely Gavin, if you're ever around, I'd have you taste it. But I think someone with more of appreciation would appreciate much more notes of this thing. Like I had someone with a certain palate for it, and he said it was excellent, like a really excellent whiskey. So again, another Crown Royal that's punching above its weight.
Nice.
Which is funny for us to say, because like you guys growing up in Canada, like Crown Royal is what you put inside a Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Crown and Cola.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's like it's the first rye that you kind of cut your teeth on when you are of legal drinking age.
I was wondering where you're going. Yeah.
That's right. Kids,
Kids,
That's right, kids.
smart up. Future.
stay in school.
Travel out of province. So yeah, it's I think because it's something that's very just there, it's like JD of rye.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes we forget too that like JD is actually a well-crafted brew, like, or a well-crafted like whiskey. Like it has that. They do things with the oak that add certain nuances to the flavor, but I think the marketing team sometimes undersells that point to just like, I'm gonna have some JD. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, but the distillery is making a nice product here. We should maybe like exemplify that factor instead of just like making it the go-to for frat boys. So yeah, I think unfortunately like Crown Royal had that sort of mentality where it was kind of taken up by more of the competitive drinking scene. So
I'm sure. I think one of my favorite lies was it comes in the very classic like purple bag.
Right.
yeah, what you'll use for Scrabble tiles eventually.
Yeah, see, the Scrabble one I can understand. There's this one commercial, and it's just like, Crown Royal, like the whiskey of choice, and the purple bag where you put your hockey pucks. You're like, that's not a thing. That is not a thing. That's a lie, sir.
You're grasping.
You're trying. They're trying to make that a thing. Like I've never in my life put a hockey puck into a Crown Royal bag. I've never seen it.
Why would you?
You don't travel with a sack of hockey pucks?
Yeah.
I do. I play hockey all the time. Like I played last week. Everybody, thank you so much for listening once again. This has been newdadgaming.com. We do this podcast weekly. If you'd like to leave us a note, ask us a question, reach out to us in any way, you can find us at our website at newdadgaming.com. The podcast goes up onto iTunes and Google Play, as well as many other podcasting services. As I mentioned, if you want to reach out with a question, thought, or comment, we'd love to hear from you. We're also on Twitter and Facebook. If you could share, like, subscribe, and pass it around to new dads who game. And and play Witcher, dress up nicely for Halloween, or skate very lonely.
Yeah.
And until next week, my name is Trevor, and I have a 1-year-old.
My name is Gavin, and I have a 1-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I got a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Great. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye.